that sort of villains that flop from endings we love to the ones that should stop. He'll call out the hype, tear down the disguise. Say what you're thinking but can't verbalize. No sugarcoat, no play it safe plan. Just raw uncut, that's Mr. Redman. Every frame, every game, every line's fair game. If it's weak, if it's fire, he'll call it by name. This is Lights, Camera, Rant, where fandom meets fury.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rand, and look, there is a bit we need to talk about. Some huge casting, some interesting photos, and some news that we need to talk about that I can't wait to get into. And of course, for this episode, if you're joining us, we know that we're going to be talking about 28 years later, the Bone Temple. How does it stack up against 28 years later from last year that came out in June? We're going to break down into that. But if you haven't already, please go check out last week's episode where we talked about the biggest Marvel projects that are coming out this year, from the most anticipated to the least, covering both movies, TV shows, and video games. It is a stacked year for Marvel. Even though if you take out Avengers Doomsday, it's kind of more stacked in the TV show area than opposed to movies, because of course we're only getting 2 Marvel movies this year, but in saying that, we are getting 2 very big Marvel movies this year, with Spider-Man Brand New Day, and of course Avengers Doomsday, which there is some news that we need to talk about that. But of course, let's dive into the news and let's dive into the reviews. So last year was announced that Incredibles 3 was coming and has no official release date yet, though. Most likely, we're looking, 2020, I'd say 2028. I say we're probably currently looking at. However, it is reported that they're going to start going in March to start recording for the film, which is great news. I'm all up for this. Incredibles was a fantastic movie. The first one was great. Arguably a better Fantastic Four film than the actual Fantastic Four film, which, the very first 2, that wasn't too hard, but that was fantastic. That was great. The second one was also good. It definitely made its money. However, as it currently stands right now, Zootopia is the highest grossing Disney movie so far, with making, I believe it was about $1.6 billion at the box office, and was the second highest grossing movie of last year. And that's how much money. And it beat Lilo and Stitch. It's been Frozen 2. So, but yeah, we do have Incredibles 3 on the horizon. Just as to remind people that it is coming, you only just have to wait until about 2028 for when it should be coming around. And is it going to live up to the rest of the sequels in the third films? Which, this year we're getting Toy Story 5, which I'm really excited for. Now, this was really big news, because I was talking about a few weeks ago that with the Harry Potter TV show, what elements are they going to take from the original films, and what are they going to cut out from it? How's it going to be set differently? And a big thing with the Harry Potter franchise was the music. And it's got with John Williams. It's iconic. It's right up there with Star Wars. Jurassic Park is right up there. So my question was, who's going to follow up with that? What's it going to look like? Are they going to do something like Superman that we just got last summer, where they use the original theme, but they put a little bit of a modern twist on it? However, in the past week, it's officially announced that Hans Zimmer will be scoring the brand new Harry Potter TV show, which is the best news that we could get. If there was someone to follow up John Williams, his themes, this is fantastic to see, and this is an absolute win. My question is he going to do something completely original, or again, are they going to take Harry Potter. They're going to take the original Harry Potter TV show and theme and just redo it and give a nice spin on it. That would be cool as well. But I think, as soon as I saw this come up, I was like, that is the best thing. That is the best news that we could get. That Hans Zimmer is going to be scoring the brand new Harry Potter TV show, which is, of course, it's streaming on HBO Max. The mission statement is they want to do a season per book. Obviously, that might change when you reach the later books with Harry Potter, because the fact, depending on how they structure the episodes, it is going to be a 10-episode season. It's going to be interesting because you're going to watch this TV show, and because it's rehashing the books again, same as the movies, are you going to, it's meant to capture a brand new generation in this, but are you going to be someone who's grown up with the Harry Potter movies? Are you going to be, when the end of the season, is it going to be like, oh my God, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Or is like, well, I know what happens next. Am I really going to give a shit? Like, that's the feeling I'm going into this, is what are they going to do slightly different to make it more exciting? So the fact that as soon as that season ends, you're going to be excited for season 2. Like, that's my biggest question. What's going to be? But look, the one question has been answered. Hans Zimmer, Harry Potter, absolute fucking win. And I can't wait to hear what he makes and what he puts together for this. It's just an absolute win for Harry Potter fans. It's an absolute win for everyone who's looking forward to this TV show. It's just going to, I'm just really curious to hear what it's going to be. But speaking of TV shows, something that's been on the works for a little while now. I feel like it's had a stop and start. And at one point, I thought it was going to be cancelled because it just kind of went dormant for a little while. Is it Sophie Turner's Lara Croft Amazon TV show? So at the moment, as it currently stands, there is the God of War TV show. There's the Lara Croft TV show. And it's nothing official, but there's a whole idea that, it'd be great if Red Dead Redemption for Amazon would be great as well. I think that's down the track. Or it's just wishful thinking on my part, one or two. But at least Lara Croft and Amazon, and Lara Croft and God of War. It looks to be with Amazon seems to be taking the cake as if you want a video game adaptations done right and on the big screen with the money pumped into it, Amazon is the place to go. And speaking of that, is that we got our very first look of Sophie Turner in her Lara Croft outfit, which to me, as a fan of the franchise, look at the photos, like, okay, it's a little bit different. Of course, a little different from the movies, the last 3 movies that we've got. It looks like a bit of a mix between the old school games, the new school, bit of both. Now, look, the Lara Croft TV show, it's currently, there is a press release on Amazon's official website about it, but the details for the show are actually, there is nothing about actually it's going to be about. There's no full cast listing. We don't have a particular release date, but I'm guessing if this is the first photo of her, if this is just, they're taking photos early on, depending. We do know it's currently shooting, so we are currently looking at about a 2027/2028 release date for this. And look, it would be really fantastic if we got a Lara Croft TV show one year, Fallout TV show the next, God of War next. Like, that cycle would be great. I know a lot of people will be pissed because we want Fallout every single year, but it would be nice to at least have at least one epic gaming TV show every single year. That would just be awesome. But yeah, so seeing a bit about the comments about it, I was just looking like it's not that bad. Like, people have ripped through it. It's really not that bad. Look, and I do hope it has the grittiness. I do hope it has that Indiana Jones feel. That really what the games bring to the big screen, bring to the game. I really hope they can capture that. I really hope this Amazon money that they will be able to bring that to the big screen. And look, it might be a better adaptation than we got with Uncharted, which Uncharted 2 is still currently in the works. But that's kind of up into the middle of nowhere because we have no idea when that is going to be. Yeah, we have no idea when that's going to be happening, when or where. especially because the fact the last 12 months or even longer, Mr. Tom Holland has been shooting Odysseus and Spider-Man Brand New Day. So he has been busy. I can't remember if he's still in talks because he does want to take a big break from acting. But man, if you're in high demand and you're liking these projects, then you got to keep kicking it. And we also do have officially our Kratos, our God of War that will be in the Amazon TV show, which is Ryan Hurst, which you obviously, of course, you would know him from. I just forgot. It was a biker show. He was just on the tip of my tongue. I was gonna say it's not Outlanders. Why have I got that in my head? No, it is Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy. That's what he's in. If you do know him, and he's also, if you really do know him, he's actually Thor. He actually plays Thor in the video game, so it's curious to see that he's going to be on the big screen. Now, the whole idea with it, there is no official plot or release date for the God of War TV show. Amazon is spending a lot of money in this because of how iconic the franchise is. I would presume they're probably spending a little bit more money on this compared to Lara Croft because, it's a bit more mythical. And it's going to be a little bit different, but hey, you never know. Officially, there was going to be at least 2 seasons. That's what Amazon has ordered, and it's most likely is rumored the fact it's going to pick up from God of War 4 and go from the story between him and Atreus, and we might get him as flashbacks as his time at God of War 1, 2, and 3. Look, I am all up for it. He's going to build for it. I kind of wish it was going to be Christopher Judge who's going to play the character. Like, you could still get him away playing God of War. I'm sure he would have bulked up. He would have done everything to get in that role, to get in the shape for that. He would have been sold on it. However, I just saw like a whole Twitter feed the other day with him being as fan casted as Darkseid, which would be brilliant. He would be such a good Darkseid. And that's, it's funny, going on a tangent or rant, but, on the big screen, we've only seen Darkseid once. This iconic, big bad for the Justice League, the DC universe, this big bad, this Thanos up on that pedestal, and we haven't got him again. It is one of the biggest crimes that we have. He's not been on the big screen before. I look like we have, before Thanos did appear. Obviously, he didn't appear before that. But it'd be great if we got Darkseid again. I know James Gunn has plans for him, but they should be very far away. I'm most likely, I'm 33 now. I'll probably be 45. By the time we see Darkseid on the big screen again. That really sucks. That was one hell of a tangent. But yes, we do have our God of War. And of course, right now casting is going on. So hopefully we get the full cast very soon. Now, also in the past week, just to throw Marvel fans to go off on a different tangent and to go on to, scrutinize these trailers. So in the past 5 weeks, but in the past 5 weeks, we've got the new teasers for Avengers Doomsday. One with Thor, one with Captain America, one with the X-Men, and one which just got released the past week with the Wakandians and Fantastic Four. We got that. Which apparently the Russo brothers saying that, pay attention, these aren't trailers or teasers, these are stories. So to go into it even further, which one of them, especially the most recent one, where we see the Wakandians, we see the Black Panther, Baku, introduce themselves to the thing. But we also do see Namor. But then again, we see Namor, it looks like they're on a desert. Looks like he's a desert. Like, why is he there? So, there's a whole theory going around to break it down. Is like, are these glimpses? Are these glimpses in different universes? This actually isn't our universe. Is Doctor Doom looking at these different scenarios of what's happened? There's a whole string of theory. The fact, everything that's going to be causing Avengers Doomsday, everything that's causing with Secret Wars is because Cap went back in time and put everything back. Like, he was not meant to get the ending he deserved. That's the thing. So the question is, did he, there's another whole theory again. Is that because of what he did, it created a ripple effect, and it killed RDJ's Doctor Doom's daughter and wife, that he's going around this whole universe trying to find this version of Captain America to kill him, to stop this whole implosion, the incursion, everything. There's a lot of theories going around. Also, here we go. As always, we go live every single week, live on YouTube. A big shout out to Ray Lee Downey. Thanks for coming past. Thanks for coming past for Destiny as well. Do appreciate it. As always, we are live every single week. We rant about the news and we do a review. So, always join into the rant and grab a drink. So, yeah, it doesn't matter if it's one person here or 1,000. I'll rant about anything. Yeah, so that's another theory going around about that all of this is because of Steve Rogers. All this is because of what he's done, and that's what RDJ's Doctor Doom's after. So are these trailers just blink snapshots into the universe from what Doctor Doom can see? Will it all? Well, of course, it's all kind of come together, but stories. So yeah, that's my question. When he says stories, like, these technically are the first. These are the first teasers for Doomsday. It's not rumored until what do you call it? Super Bowl is when we get the full trailer for Avengers Doomsday. That's also rumored when we get the full trailer for Toy Story 5, Super Mario, Dune 3, full trailer for Odysseus. That's all rumored for Super Bowl, which will be, I think it's March or May. I always forget where it is, but I think it's March. Going around. So that's the other thing. James, Iron Man returns and dies again. Well, that's very possible. That's very possible that we get Doctor Doom. He's in his own movie. He dies again, and it's Secret Wars. But I don't think that'll be the case. I think Doctor Doom will be well into Secret Wars as well, because it's based on the comics. What they're taking him back. James, what's the point of bringing back RDJ to murk him again? Look, it's, I've spoken about this in length to multiple people. Look, there's a lot of good arguments. The fact that he should have not been Doctor Doom. Shouldn't have been Doctor Doom at all. They should have gone with someone different, like Cillian Murphy, someone completely different. But it is, I feel like there's a great storyal thread there. The fact that the person who helped build the MCU to what it is about to come back in the MCU and is about to play one of the best villains in comic book history to tear it all down. And it's going to be hard for people that see RDJ as Iron Man, and they're all happy. But again, as we're dealing with the multiverse, which there is a comic book based on this as well, where Iron Man does become Doctor Doom. He doesn't go down the road of being a hero; he goes down the road of being a villain. So there is a comic based on that. Again, there's another argument: the fact there's a comic based on every scenario that you can think of, which is correct. So. And I think it was, no one would have expected RDJ coming back as Doctor Doom. They got that surprise. The Russo brothers are back. And look, which I also do say to people, is that RDJ is a very smart man. I do know multiple trucks of money are a big persuasion for you to take up roles. But at the same time, I'm sure there must have been something really meaty for both him to go to Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers going, I'm back, I'm on board, let's do this. 100% the fact that he will not be doing any more films after this. It'll just be Avengers and Secret Wars, and RDJ will officially be done. I don't think that's it. He's not going to come back. I know I say that, and we got Wolverine coming back, and I do know the fact with Wolverine, and also with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, there's a whole Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. There's a whole thread of they're all going to be in Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. James, when RDJ returns as Doctor Doom, not Iron Man, is Marvel asking us to let go of the hero, or proving we never really can? James, when the face of the sacrifice comes back wearing tyranny, does Doom become more frightening because we trust him, or because some part of us still wants to believe he's right? Well, actually, that's a really good question. And well, that's the thing. That's one of the compelling things that we had with Thanos. Thanos wasn't there to just take over the world like a mustache twirling villain. He wasn't anything like that. When he does that speech on his home planet of Titan, it does speak on some levels. And you do that split second when you go, he's got a point. He's got a point. I'm pretty sure I've got my mug around here that says Thanos is right. And that's an argument. How he executed the plan is horrible. Obviously deserved to die. Everyone died, 100%. But, there is an argument that half of what, quarter of what he was saying, had justification. I think that when we go into Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think they're going to do the effect very much to the point of The Force Awakens. We have this new villain, and this new villain is going to straight up murder one of the key characters to show you that this is not Iron Man. This is completely different. Especially the other question is, how much is RDJ going to be showing his face? And Doctor Doom, I'm really excited to see the Doctor Doom suit. That's what I'm really curious about. But I think, it's going to be how much are we going to see this? Are we going to get like a type of Anakin thing where you don't, or Darth Vader type of aspect where you don't see his face until all the heroes team up and start beating on him, so it cracks that mask and realizes it's Tony, and the whole spiral, the fact, what does that mean? What happened? What went wrong in your universe? And the whole other question is, well, in this universe, if you turn to Doctor Doom, then who's the Doctor Doom in our universe? That's another question itself. James, and if the same man can embody both hope and domination, was Iron Man ever the opposite of Doctor Doom, or just one decision away? I think the whole mission is one decision away. One decision away. The fact that he could become, and I think that's what the film's going to impeach, is the fact that he could have done that. It will show you one decision away where, maybe Pepper died, and he didn't have that. Maybe Rhodey died, and he didn't have that correction. How it's he didn't have that support. He joined Obadiah, making more weapons. He went down that road, kept going, and then we see what he's, he eventually, Ultron never gets built. There's a whole sleuth of the multiverse possibility of what that could mean. That's the question that we've shown. I'm really curious about the full trailer, how these teasers are going to tie into the main trailer and what that's going to mean for the film. And look, we're less than 12 months away. And I do know there's a whole bunch of people out there that are not excited for Doomsday, aren't happy that RDJ is back. And also the fact is laughing away the fact that we get these teasers and not one of them is showing any of the new characters that have been introduced in the past 8 years. No, it's past 7 years. Sorry, past 7 years. And look, I think the whole point of that is that there'd be a reason why. I know people were like, "Oh, it's probably they just want to use the old cast. They can't really ever go away. The MCU is dead." I think it's more the fact that it's a small juice to see where these characters are, but we are going to see a lot of the new people. Like the Thunderbolts are well into it. The Fantastic Four are well into it. The new Avengers are currently cooking up in the background. So there's a bit into it. And speaking of other characters, according to one of the writers, we are getting Jean Grey back. original Jean Grey from the original X-Men movies, apparently she's coming back as well because she was absent from the Chair releases. And I'm pretty sure she did say the fact she wasn't coming back, but apparently the rumor is that she is coming back. And if she's back, that's fantastic because she is Jean Grey. She is the Phoenix. James, RDJ's Doctor Doom isn't just casting. It's a mirror. If the man who built the armor of hope now wears the mask of control, what does that say about power and intent? It's feeling a costume or a choice. Jesus, man, that's really deep. That's really, really deep. That's true. Well, what was RDJ say at said at Comic-Con last year? Different mask, same task. There you go. But yeah, it's still Jean Grey coming back is fantastic. Getting that OG X-Men back, and I know I have seen a few comments being like, "Well, this is like the 10th send-off for the original X-Men." I'm like, don't you worry. I know you're going to be saying that now, but this is all roads lead to that. This is indeed the last one. After this, after Secret Wars, nothing. And it's almost a payoff, to be honest with you, because you watch that X-Men film and you wish Spider-Man could be in with them. You could wish Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's in there. You wish all this, and there is a real possibility that Secret Wars we're going to get that, and it's going to be, if it does happen, it's going to be a spectacular moment in film history. But then after Secret Wars, that is it. There is going to be no more of that. There will be new X-Men. There'll be new ones. There'll be a new team, and everyone before Secret Wars is pretty much done, except for all the kids and newbies and the Fantastic Four and the one. But like the OG ones, they're not coming back. They're not coming back. Also, totally forgot. If you need to remind everybody, I need to remind you guys that it is a live-action Legend of Zelda movie currently in the works. And it is coming out in May 2027. But the interesting thing is that the studio behind it is Sony, the irony and all that. But when its cinema run is over, it will be going straight to streaming for Netflix. Netflix has brought the streaming rights for the movie over Sony, which is interesting. But yes, Legend of Zelda movie will be on Netflix straight away. Here we go. James, different mask, same task is more than a clever phrasing. It's a meditation on the identity and purpose. The man who once carried the weight of the world, and Iron Man carries it into doom. Bingo. Print that, write that, put that on a meme, my friend. 100%. The mask changes, but the drive, the genius, the aberration, they're unchanged. It is, except, it was butterfly effect. You in one different direction, same thing. You flip a coin. In one universe, you get heads. Another universe, you get tails. Two different choices, a parallel. Anything can happen. But yes, don't forget about the Legend of Zelda movie that's coming out. But yes, you will have to watch it on Netflix when it comes into streaming. Also, I don't know how this is going to work. This is wild. This is awesome. Where we go? Lord Alcatraz 000. Why isn't Zelda being played by? I have no idea. I don't know. Can't answer that one for you. James, it asks to do the tools to find the hero or the villain, or is it mind behind them? And if the same mind can inspire hope, command, fear, what does it say about the thin line between the two? That's true. Why So Sidious podcast. Yeah, boys. Thanks for coming past, Mr. If you haven't already, definitely, both watching and listening, definitely check, as always, go check out the Why So Sidious podcast. They've got a fantastic new member, a part of their team. So definitely go check those out. Check those guys out. They're fantastic, and they're always raising the bar. And every episode is always fantastic, and also their socials. So go check it out. And I I was wearing your T-shirt the other day. Actually, someone actually asked me about the podcast. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I explained it, and I also was like, was like, oh, this is the YCC podcast. I was like, blah, blah, blah. And also here's mine as well. I was like, but go follow them too. Go follow them first. They go follow me. So your merch is working. I'm always wearing your hoodie. I know, and I appreciate you wearing a hoodie. Appreciate it so much. I do actually. You've actually reminded me. I need to fix up the merch store. I need to add a little bit more to it. Logan, have you heard about the new Star Trek show? Yes, I have heard about the Star Trek show and the good and the bad that's happened with that show, and in between. But speaking of shows, one thing I don't really know how this is going to work, and I guess we're going to get something like the mix of Gladiator, that old TV show, between a mix of the Beast games, because Amazon has greenlit a Fallout reality TV show, similar based to the Fallout Shelter video game, where there's going to be challenges, stuff to overcome, people basically in a vault. I have no idea how this is going to look. How long are these people going to be? How long are these people going to be in the vault for? I'm pretty sure they're not going to wait until Armageddon happens, which sometimes if you read the news, I feel like Armageddon's not far away, which is terribly sad and horribly. That makes Lord Alcatraz, that makes me cringe. For the Fallout TV show, the reality of it, I just don't know how it's going to work, how it's going to look. But look, there are going to be people who's going to put their names up to go play this game. But it's very much how like there's Squid Games, real reality TV show. There is going to be a Fallout reality TV show. So get ready for that. Whole bunch of people in the vault. So it's going to be like 20 vaults, all with different missions. God, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird, to say the least. But Fallout's kicking ass on Amazon. Let's bring a reality TV show and see how that's gonna stack up and what that's gonna look like. Also, speaking of what's gonna be weird and how it's gonna look like, is that I mentioned a few weeks ago is that we are getting a brand new James, do you rant for the viewers or rant for yourself? I rant for the viewers, I rant for the listeners. And I also rant for myself. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love video games. And I love just chatting about that stuff. So that's why we're called Lights Camera Rant. And that's what we talk about for an hour or 2 hours. James, if your hat could talk, what would it say about all the things you ranted about? Well, let's put it in this perspective. Come June this year will be the 5th anniversary of this show. We've currently done 243 weeks in a row. Collectively, we have over 300 episodes of this podcast, and we have ranted about everything. I've covered movies and TV shows and video games for the past 4 years. Like there's probably things I have missed, but we've ranted from post Endgame. We've ranted about Superman. We've ranted about F1. We've ranted about Wonka. Like you can go back. All of our episodes are on YouTube, where we get local podcasts. But it is a lot that we've ranted about. Here we go. There you go. Lights Camera Rant has done more weekly consecutive episodes than I've had weekly consecutive poops. So all right, that got me. All right, that was good. That got me good. Lights Camera Rant has done more weekly consecutive episodes than I've had weekly consecutive poops, so that's some achievement. James, so you say June marks the 5th anniversary. 5 whole years of whatever the journey has been. Looking back, what stands out most, and what do you want to carry forward? Well, that's a good question. What stands out the most? A couple of things, really. Probably what stands out the most is meeting people like YSO City's podcast, meeting other podcasters, having international guests, making new friends, especially people ranting about the same kind of stuff that I'm interested in, and going off, meeting all of them. And then obviously last year was a really big thing. For the very first time, I got invited to go to both a DC film and a Marvel film premiere, which was fantastic. Carrying forward, it's going to be carrying forward. I hope to keep ranting on, keep doing weekly, and hopefully, one day in the future, if I ever have kids, they're going to go back and they can listen to me review movies and films and TV shows and video games and see what they say and what I thought at the time as a legacy type of thing, which is really cool. Why So Serious podcast? I say bring back the early drunk episodes. They were fire. Oh, they were easy because we're in COVID, and those first 20 episodes I didn't, or 20 episodes or 30 episodes, I didn't have a camera, so I could just get pissed in my garage because it was during COVID and we couldn't leave. Actually, but then again, it's funny you actually say that because I was actually thinking about the other day of some type of movie thing of doing shots when something gets said or some type of game, and see how long I can last during the movie every time something particularly gets said. And just listen as the episode goes from really normal to really drunk, and then it's just going to basically just be a big blur. But we like camera drunk or different shots of movies, basically. But hey, that's an idea I had. James, it's cool to see how it's not just rants; it's building connections and legacy. It has been. It really has been. It's opened a lot of doors. It's opened a lot of doors for me. It's made connections that I have never predicted, and made some really, really lifelong friends. From that, and it's you don't even know what can happen when you start a podcast, and it's it's legacy too. Hopefully we can keep going in the future. I'm pretty sure we will be able to, because movies and TV show and video games are not going to stop tomorrow. So there's always going to be something to rant about. Always. Is there a line between a rant and a sermon? Sermon? Or do you just cross it whenever you feel like it? I'm not too sure if I understand the question. I'm not too sure. Mainly a rant. Because it's on my hat. It's on my t-shirt. It's on my shorts. It's on my jumpers. It's on my mugs. It's all pretty much there. It's on my business cards. So there's a lot of ranting. But yeah, sorry, going back, just saying that, yeah, so a few weeks ago, I did mention the fact that we are getting a brand new Exorcist film, which we are getting Scarlett Johansson as going to be in the movie. We have the official release date. It's going to be March 13th next year. That's going to be interesting. March 12th, 2027 will be being the brand new Exorcist film with Scarlett Johansson. Again, that's another thing I'm like, I have no idea how that's going to be look like, and it's going to be wild. And speaking of what's going to be also wild is, if you don't also remember the fact getting a Baywatch reboot. Yes, that is correct. We got the Baywatch movie a few years ago with The Rock, and now it's official, the fact that we're getting a Baywatch TV show. Now, I did talk about this a few weeks ago. However, is officially going out that is posting that they're doing an open casting call of just for young, talented people across all types of walks of life to come and audition for the show. So yes, I can't remember which streaming platform has ordered this, but we are getting a brand new Baywatch TV show. I want to say Disney because it was a Fox thing, so it might be that. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to look like. But yeah, Baywatch fans, we are getting a Baywatch TV show, and who's going to take up the role as the Hoff going into that, and everyone else, all the other characters are going to be coming up. But yeah, Baywatch TV show is on the horizon. But let's talk about the movies. Let's talk about 28 years later, Bone Temple. So this is one of the very first major films to kick off the brand new year. Horror-wise, it's a sequel to the 28 years later that came out last year in June, which is kicking off a brand new pending trilogy. As I say that, because we got 28 years later, Bone Temple, and there is currently a script and plans to make a third, depending on the success of this particular one, depending on the money-wise. And it is one of the shortest time frames between we begin at the original film and a sequel. So this is going into the 28 years, weeks, months franchise that we have getting. That we're going into this, and the trailer was very like, how was this going to look? Because we're getting back. We get Ralph Fiennes as Dr. Kelson back. We get Jack O'Connor as Jimmy. We get Alfie back as Spike. Aaron is another as Jimmy. And there's also a sequel at the end. Sorry, a cameo at the end, which I'm pretty sure it's already been revealed by the time we're reviewing this, but Cillian Murphy does come right at the end. Spoil it! Sorry, spoilers left and right and center. If you haven't already, please go check out the film. If you haven't, please come back and listen to the rest of this podcast as we rant about it. Big shout out to Sony. Thank you so much for inviting me to the premiere this past week. It was fantastic. It was great to get back in the environment. It was the first premiere of the year. I was so excited. And this film really lived up to that. Also, the fact that even my Apple Watch was going off of how loud it was in there. And this film picks up directly after 28 years later. This picks up straight away. And we see Spike. He's joined the Fingers, led by Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, which is played by Jack O'Connor. He plays another unhinged person. We got a small little cameo of him from the previous film, and a little bit about his life, because he's, as a kid, his story is the beginning of 28 years later, and this is us catching up with him. So his group is a psychotic group in which basically there can only be 5 fingers. If there's a new fingers, someone has to die. So straight off the bat, I'm going to tell you, this is a lot more bloodier. It's a lot more messier. It's a lot more darker. There is still Samson, the huge alpha zombie, where you still see his massive dong right there, big zombie dong. You can't miss that when he's running. However, there's a part where it becomes covered and it disappears again. But of course, there's blood. We get Alfie, which I feel for this kid. He just wants to get home. Like he just, he did the right thing in the previous film. He was just going to go home, and he bumped into these weirdos, and here we are. He's stuck in this. I also love like these 5 fingers all have like tracksuits and the wigs. I'm like, it's post-apocalyptic. Where did you find 5 nearly the same tracksuit, and where did you find the 5 wigs are the same? Or like you've just kept them for this long? Like what? How did you keep that? But I guess anything can happen in post-apocalyptic world. So of course Alfie kills one of the Jimmys accidentally, full blood out. So he gets stuck with them on that particular journey as they travel. In saying that, we also do get on the other side, we see Ralph Fiennes' character, Kelson, who's becoming a little bit lonely, a little bit bored, basically, and he's trying to connect with Samson, who's this big alpha male zombie, which you do start seeing a slow connection between the two. And this is probably don't get me, Jack O'Connor's portrayal of Jimmy is fantastic. Alfie, I feel for him, that whole aspect. But seeing this connection between Kelson and Samson is fantastic because it starts diving into the whole thing about how they can beat the infection and what's causing this infection. Because we do see Samson kill somebody, but we do get a brief glimpse through his eyes. And he basically almost just sees him attacking, and that's not happening, so he kills it. So that gives us a little bit of understanding, and that's a great insight with this film, is that we see what the zombie sees, which is not very often we get from that perspective. So it's really great. It was really great to see from that angle. So it makes you more understand why the fact that these zombies are just attacking, remorseless, like nothing, just basically, head, fingers and eyes, pulling heads and spine straight out of bodies, and that's what you see. So that's a great aspect, and we see this connection where he does understand the doctor as they're growing a bond because he's taking the morphine, and Kelson starts to figure out a way that, okay, maybe this is the cause for it. What's causing it, how to beat it. It's actually, they need to, it's in the frontal lobe, and they need to use a couple of different drugs to fix it, which does fix it, which is fantastic. We get to see Samson's life before he became infected. There's a great flashback scene in this where you see him as a kid, you see him as a teenager, and you start, and this is really great, it's fantastic. So because he starts realizing he's human, he starts getting better, the infected start returning and realizing the fact that he's becoming more human, which turns into a big bloody fight, which is great. Blood is there's a lot more bloody. This is straight like going. If I'm going to spoil my own review, this is so much better than the last one. So much better. Like if we're talking like a letterbox review, I'm giving this 4 stars. This film gives you the suspense. This gives you the action. This gives you the weird and wonderful that you can get in this particular world. Because on the flip side, we get more into Jimmy's character, Jimmy Sir Lord Crystal. And he talks about how he can hear a voice called Nick. He tells him what to do. This actually also has a little bit more comedy in it. Some of them hit. Some of the scenes of comedy do hit. Some don't. But majority of them do. And there's a scene where these Jimmys go into this house. They take over these people just living it. And he does this whole thing about skins off and skins on. And I'm judging by what that meant. You people will know what that is. That scene is brutal as, oh, that's intense. That's intense horror right there. But he says he can hear a voice. And he said Nick, and basically Satan. For a split second, I was like, oh, is he talking? Like, is he mind gone? The fact that he thinks it's Santa? So because one of the people saw Kelson with Samson, is the fact that is he Nick? Is he the devil essentially? So we get Jimmy, who goes meets him, realizes the fact he's in a bind, like, hey, can you pretend to be Nick? Because my disciples aren't going to listen to me, or I'm going to kill you. And of course, Kelson goes, well, I'm going to have to agree, which, yeah, going to have to agree, going to have to do it. And because he says he hears voices ahead, and you realize, which is a scene later on, because he starts freaking out, he's got schizophrenic. So that's why he hears voices in his head. That's why he says Nick and all that. That makes a lot more sense. But what that leads to is, so basically, Ralph Fiennes' character basically has to pretend he's the devil, and he basically does all that. Does all this prepping with the fire and everything. Then, of course, he brings his final player, he brings out the Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. He blasts that so loud. That's why my Apple Watch was going off, going the decibels in the room was so loud. It is an awesome scene. The last, I know you probably have seen it, but someone did write in Letterboxd review, the last 15 minutes of this film is wild. Take that to the bank. It does. It is wild, the last 15 minutes. The way that he plays Number of the Beast, what happens with his character, what happens with Alfie, what happens with Jimmy. And of course, that leads to the fact that we do get Cillian Murphy. We see him return. We see him with his daughter. This is his first appearance since 28 weeks later. So we see what he's been up to. He's going to bump into Alfie, and that's going to basically almost connect this new cast with the old cast and set up number 3. So the film never feels like it slows down. The beats all hit. It's shot fantastically. The new connections, you feel it, and the film just hits. And here's the hard thing, is that this film only cost $61 million. The reviews are good. Rotten Tomatoes, everything's positive. However, it's only made $31 million at the box office. So it's surprising the fact that it's doing so well critically compared to the last one. It's not making its money. So I'm really hoping it does pick up a little bit more so we can get the last film to wrap this all up, because it would just be a shame the fact that we don't get that last film to complete this and turn into a 5th film, essentially. I can't count. Yeah, 5th film. Sorry, I was about to go. To get that'd be fantastic. But it does. We don't have a lot of characters, but with the characters we do get, you're stuck with them. You like them. You feel for them. Who lives? Who dies? Who's insane? What that means in this whole 28 days later and weeks later and years later universe, what that means moving forward. But this film, if you're looking for a horror film to kick off the new year, this is, I definitely recommend. You will have a blast in the last 15 minutes. You will not be disappointed. So go check it out. Come back to this podcast. Come here on socials. Let's rant about. But this film does have Mr. Rand's approval, and go check out this film. And look, I do want to say a big shout out to everyone who's tuned in for this episode. As always, listening in, watching, chatting. It means the absolute world for me. So from the bottom of my heart, as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Light, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.